combine small town roots with business savvy, and you've got the Rural Rundown podcast. We're sharing our marketing and branding strategies, tips, and tricks that rural businesses can use to educate, inspire, and entertain their customers, and to help you make sales and hit profit goals. So what does it take to go from your mom is your only fan to famous in a small town? Tune in and listen up as we feature business owners and organizations that are doing big things in their community and creating opportunities for generations to come. Welcome back to another episode of the Rural Rundown podcast. I feel like it's been a little bit since we catched up. So Rach, how are things with you?
Things are going well. We finally have some sort of spring. It actually looks like here in Minnesota, we're going right into summer. No spring at all. So that's how things have been. We're all feeling it here. I feel like everybody's kind of like, we need the sun, and it's finally coming. I was just telling you off the recording that the guys are in the field today planting. So that kind of kicks me off into, it's May 6th for when we recorded this. Puts me into a different season of life. But I'm excited because I know we've been waiting for it. So it's time to go. What about you? What's new over there?
Yeah, not a whole lot is new over here. Funny you said that though. I felt the same way about being in Arizona. Last year was the first year that we lived here and I traveled a lot. This year I haven't traveled at all, I don't think yet. So we're enjoying being home and just staying home, working from home, doing stuff here. But I noticed like it was these cool like winter type mornings and nights where it was kind of like crisp, and then all of a sudden it was hot, and I was like, okay, so this is how it works here, where it like just goes from one to the other. I think it's supposed to be in the high 90s today, Oli told me. So yeah, it's interesting. And speaking of like seasons of life, I've been thinking about that so much lately, to think about like, man, it's been how long since we've been in college now. And this springtime, I love when like calves are being born, people are graduating high school. Like it's really refreshing and really just a time to like look at things and be like, okay, what's next? And like I said before, how I like to kind of plan my months based on the quarter. I'm like feeling that kind of itch to be like, okay, new month, new quarter, like new, we're not in a new quarter yet, but really just kind of like feeling that itch to be like, start something new, be in a new season. So yeah, I don't know what it is yet. I'm feeling it, but I'm not sure what it is yet. So we'll, I guess, stay tuned for that.
Yes, the change is coming. I'm feeling a little resistant to it, but I know I need to let go. So it's all going to change.
Yeah, it is all going to change. Today on the podcast, we want to talk about social media a little bit and kind of like celebrating holidays via social media. We see some people who do it really tactfully, and then other people who maybe aren't doing it so tactfully. And so just different things that we're seeing, and maybe some tips we have for you as you go ahead and you plan out your social media content for some of these really fun summer holidays that people like to celebrate and have sales around, and all of that summer goodness. So Rachel, if you want to, you got thoughts? Want to kick it off? Where should we start?
Yes. Okay. So my first piece of advice, and I wrote this down, so I want to read it. I put, I think the most important thing for us when we're thinking about, we're going to do something on social for these holidays, or for, there's different months and different weeks all the time of things we can celebrate, is there something interesting, meaningful, or unique you can do as a business that then ties to it, so it doesn't feel so rushed? And I've been there where it's like, well, crap, Mother's Day is this weekend, we don't have anything ready, so you just kind of throw up a nice graphic that you made in Canva. Not the end of the world if you have to do that, but we're here today to like, how can we have a little more strategy around it and make it a little more, like I said, meaningful, interesting, or even relevant to your business. So I know you have some really good thoughts on this, Brenna. I know we just talked about an example as we thought about this. Do you mind sharing that, or kind of getting into it?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we thought about sharing this, kind of came up because I took on a new client where I'm like helping manage social media. I'm leading the kind of creative direction, and then I have somebody who's working with me to schedule and post and write captions and stuff. So the discussion was around Memorial Day. And there's kind of a fine line here of Memorial Day, is that you focus on Memorial Day as like this fun summer holiday and celebrating it with picnics and burgers and what have you. And then there's the other side of Memorial Day where you recognize the military. And in my opinion, there should never be a crossover. Like, hey, let's throw some burgers on the grill to like support those troops. That's like, that's no bueno. So either go strictly with just like we're supporting the troops, and that's what this holiday is about, like Memorial Day as it is, memorializing those in the military, or you are just looking at it as like a fun summer holiday. You're throwing that party, you're having that sale, throwing those burgers on the grill. Coincidentally, National Hamburger Day is the Friday before Memorial Day weekend, so it leads perfectly. My client, they have a farm market, so it landed perfectly for us to do the hamburgers on Friday and then celebrate Memorial Day weekend with the fun summer aspect of it. So I made really sure to make that distinction with the person I have working with me, to like, hey, this is the direction we're headed. I don't want there to be any crossover, and this is like what we're going to do. That's not to say that you can't mention Memorial Day in another separate post, but I don't ever want to bring them together in the same post.
And I think you said it best. Like, if you are, it really has to be done in like a tactful way that makes sense. And because one way is almost like you're honoring, and then how do you make it make sense to that? So I think you're right when you say maybe it is better separate if you are going to go two different routes that way and you want to do both.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing, when we're recording this May 6th, this is going to air May 10th. So we're really in the middle, or, ramping up for Beef Month, which is May. There's a lot of ways that you can celebrate that. This is a perfect time to share like educational tips, or share a day in the life on the farm, and bring some awareness about around beef, and what kind of a dense protein that is for people. And then leading into June being Dairy Month, a lot of opportunity there for people to share about the dairy industry, about milk, where milk comes from. That like we are getting more and more removed from the farm. This is such an opportunity to share and have it focused around 1 month. And if you're at that space where you're kind of struggling, where like, oh, well, I would like to share what happens on our farm, or I would like to invite people here, but I don't know where to start, I don't know what to do, kind of use these holiday months as a jump starter, as a kicker, to say like, okay, I'm going to use June as Dairy Month to share everything I know about the industry, bring people along with me on a day in the life, or just talk about what happens here on the farm. Same thing with Beef Month. And again, I think it's perfect opportunity for those who do have farm markets. You're selling cheese, you're selling beef, to run those kind of sales or do those kind of things that are connected to those holidays.
I love that. I mean, that was the other point I wrote down, is this is your opportunity when we talk about branding and kind of inserting yourself or maybe your team members into maybe more of a personal way without it feeling like, how do I do this? How do I talk about this on my business page? This is a perfect opportunity. And some examples I have, let's say you have a team member who is loves to grill. He's the grill master. Like, think about that, like Memorial Day, or as you said, like Beef Month. These are opportunities where you can maybe share like his favorite recipe or some pictures because he had a team event and he grilled the meat. I mean, those are simple ways, but then it also lends to you like, hey, we're people, this is how we celebrate. This is a little more about us on a personal side, but also lends to whatever, you can tie in with the different events or holidays or celebrations. So I love that. I always think that's great. Another example would be, and this is in the past, but if you're, for Easter, for example, if you are willing to talk about your faith and on your business page, like you could put like a picture of your favorite verse or something meaningful, what that means to you during these special holidays. So it doesn't have to just be faith filled, but Mother's Day is coming up, Father's Day is coming up. How do we honor those people? And that can be kind of a personal tie-in too. And the last thing I was going to say, this is another idea, is you can always collaborate with another business. So for example, maybe you aren't in the beef industry selling actual beef, but somebody who does. It's a perfect opportunity to maybe collab with that business for these different things, do a big giveaway. It allows you to kind of highlight them and also your business too, and what can you contribute. So I think those are some different strategies to think about. And what I'm going to come back to is all of this needs to be planned ahead. This is not something you can do the day before. So my advice is, if you can think about all of this like a month ahead, that gives you time to contact the other businesses you need to, or get your team members involved, get the content shot, plan the things, because I think that's where a lot of us run into it, is it becomes so timely that we're like, oh, we kind of give up. So if you can think even quarterly about what events or things you want to highlight, I think that'll help you build a better strategy and give you more time to kind of make these things bigger than just, oh, well, we just finally posted, we just wrote the little thing and put the background up, So
Yeah, I think this is such an opportunity for people to build out a campaign too, right?
yes.
When you're looking ahead at these holidays, and even if you're setting those as like place markers, to build a campaign and to actually have a strategy behind your social media versus, just sharing a meme or sharing a photo, resharing content that somebody else did. Like, make sure that stuff's on brand. You talk about sharing your favorite verse for Easter or something like that. Like, he's risen. But is that on brand for you? Is that like, is this following where you would like your brand to go? And is this what your followers want to see too? Do they align with these values? It's one thing to have values yourself as a human, and then another thing for your business to have values as well. So, really kind of like looking at what your values are beyond faith, beyond whatever, like what are your values in your business? What things do you adhere to? If your business is let's go back to Memorial Day. If your business is based on the foundation of giving back to the military, supporting veterans, blah, 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 your social media posts on Memorial Day should probably be about Memorial Day as it is as a holiday, not about having a grill or having a party, having a backyard kind of like celebration. So thinking about those things ahead of time, like you said, is really, you're going to come across more authentic because you're not just resharing somebody's content or seeing something up and you're like, oh yeah, shoot, I should have posted something like that too. We're coming up on 4th of July. I see the same stuff happen 4th of July too, where it's like you reshare people's images of fireworks or something like that. But it really is an opportunity to lead up to something, create a campaign that carries people through and gives them, little bits of trying to think of the word, but little bits of something to look forward to, I guess, that they can follow. You're giving them breadcrumbs that can follow all the way to the end of your campaign, whatever it may be. Like,
Yeah.
if we're talking about June Dairy Month and we're saying like on the very last day of June, you're leading up to some giveaway or some prize or some whatever, build out this campaign that is focused around the dairy industry. And that's a perfect time to collaborate with other people in the industry as well, to do a giveaway or to do some sort of thing, but I feel like I see too many times people are posting just to post. There's no strategy, there's no reason behind it. Like, oh, we gotta like put stuff, we have to be active on social media, but at what cost? Like, what is the end goal? And for a lot of people, the end goal is to just be social on social media. That's totally fine. But if you're in business, your goal is probably something different. So, thinking about like, okay, I'm making this post. Is it for a sale? Is it to capture a larger audience? Is it to drive people to my website? I loved what you were saying, Rachel, about the recipes or sharing something like that, making blog posts, driving people to your website and capturing that traffic. All of these are like huge opportunities that oftentimes I see missed with small businesses. So hopefully some of these things are ideas or something that could spark something in you guys that are listening to be like, hey, I want to plan ahead for June, or I want to plan ahead for July 4th. And hopefully there are some tactics and tips inside of here that make a little bit of sense. I like just talking about this stuff like makes me excited for the summer holiday. I really
Yes.
like summer in the whole.
It does. I know. And the last thing I'll say on this is, if this is helpful, I don't know if this is going to be helpful for anyone but my own brain, but if you're looking at an upcoming holiday, like, you can put it into a different category. So you just said these things, Brenna. Is it branding? So is it going to be featuring someone from the team, or a passion we believe in, or a thought we want to share, or like a feel good story? So that's one category. event would be another one. So that kind of could lead into collaborating with someone on their event or your own event. And then the last one would be special offer. So are we going to actually have like a special offer with a code to check out or come buy this? So I feel like that could kind of help you say, okay, in your brain, put those where you need to be, and then build it from there into a campaign, like you said. So yes, all of this makes me really excited, and it makes me like look ahead and think, oh, what are some of the fun things we can do? Because honestly, if you give yourself time to think about it, I think there's like limitless opportunities here.
Yeah, I would agree. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see what everybody does on social media. We should probably hold ourselves accountable and plan something fun for the summer on Rural Rundown.
First,
but our social media manager, which is what I'm going to call her, Joy, she is keeping us on our toes lately, and she is like digging up lots of content. So I'm curious to see what she has in the bag.
yes.
And this is something to note too, right? Is like when your team is far away, it's harder to come up with a campaign idea or collaborations or decide who's going to take charge of what. That's why Rach and I needed help with our account, is that we're both running separate accounts, and like sometimes you need to ask for help. There are social media managers out there who are really good at their job and what they do, and it's okay to hire that stuff out. If social media isn't your bag and this whole conversation didn't even sound any fun to you, then maybe you should look into hiring a social media manager, or at least see what's out there for the opportunity.
Yes. And a lot of times just talking to somebody will help bring up those ideas. So if you have that social media manager on who you collaborate with every month, that's their job to help you figure out how to make these campaigns and strategies. So go for it. If it's ready for you to get something off your plate, give it away.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm all about that. These days, I'm all about getting stuff off my plate. If it's ready to go, it's got to go.
Oh, I love it. Well, let us know if you guys have any questions or ideas, or maybe you're a business who already has something rolling ready for this month. We'd love to share about it and share it with others if you're willing to comment or message us and let us know what you're doing. So
even if you make a post for the holiday, whatever it is, but you use these tips or you found this helpful, tag us in your post and we'll give you some engagement. We would love to see the posts you create for the holidays.
Love to cheer you on. Good at that. So we would love to do that. Thanks, guys, for listening.
Well, that's it for this episode of the Rural Rundown podcast.
Thanks for listening. You can always find us on social media at the Rural Rundown.
And if you really liked this episode, we would totally love it if you gave us a review and gave us a little rating.
It would mean so much to us. And for more small town roots and business savvy, catch us on the next one.